Strength for runners, cycle 1, week 2, session 2. Now for today's session, in terms of kit, what you need a kettlebell or a dumbbell of reasonable weight. So we're going to be utilising that for some balance and for some calf work. Now if you do have a variety of weights, it'd be good to have a relatively light weight, so something like 6 to 8 kilos for your swaps. Again, that can be dumbbell or kettlebell, but then a heavier weight for your bent leg calf raises later. So again, if you've got options, try and go as heavy as you can. All right, I guarantee whatever weight options you do have, you'll be able to lift them, even if it's 20, 30 kilo plus, okay? So 2 options if you've got them for both of those exercises. And then you'll also need a mini looped resistance band ready for some work on those as well, okay? So in terms of warm up first, we're gonna start off with our heel to toe walks. So on the heels, toes up to the shins, legs straight, small steps, keeping that torso nice and upright as we do. 20 steps, 10 per side on those. Then into your toe walks. So we're now onto the balls of the feet. So remember, we want pressure in the big toe and little toe as we walk on the toes. And again, small steps, keeping those legs straight. And again, 20 steps to 10 per side. So heel walks, then toe walks, 20 reps on each one. Then from there, you're going to go into your glute bridges. So remember, feet about hip width apart, flat on the floor, unless you really feel it in the hamstrings, then you can go onto the heels. So remember, first things first is we tuck that pelvis under. So you're trying to twist your pelvis, tuck the tailbone underneath. So you should feel your lower back flatten into the ground as you do that. That's when you know you've done a tuck. Hold that tuck as you then gently lift the hips up. Once you feel tension in the quads and the glutes, that's as high as you need to go. Pause at the top and then lower back down. Reset in between each one, tuck, lift, pause, back down, and you're going to repeat that for 15 reps. After you've done that, you're then going to go into your hip series. So from that press up position, we're going to step the foot to the hand into that mountain climber stretch, trying to get that foot as close to the hand as we can, flat on the floor. Drop the back knee slightly if you want to increase it, and lift the chest. Then from there, step it back and then into the pigeon stretch. So bringing the knee towards the wrist. If you want to increase this one, push your head forwards, all right, not towards the ground, forwards, and you'll increase it slightly. So we're just spending a few seconds in each stretch, alternating legs as we go. And we're gonna go for 5 per side on those. Then to finish off, we're going to go into that cat-cow. So working on a little bit of upper back posture now. So from the hands and knees, remember we're going to push through the floor to round that upper back, spreading the shoulder blades apart, holding for a second, and relax back to the start. Remember, we're not arching our lower back in the bottom position like this. We're just focusing on the upper back element and trying to sink that breathe in so that we exhale as we round the back, and then breathe in as we go back to the start. And you're going to go for 15 reps on those. So heel to toe walks, 20 reps on each movement, then into your glute bridges for 15, then your hip series, 5 per side, and then into those cat cows for 15 reps. So all the movements back to back, one round through, focusing on, nice as said, control and quality of movement, not speed. Into the main session then, the first 2 movements we're going to look at are some kettlebell swaps for single leg balance and some standing psoas marches for the hips. So the kettlebell swaps first, all we're going to do is stand on one leg, making sure we've got a nice straight line through the foot so the heel isn't collapsed inwards, all right, and then think about setting that foot. So you want pressure in your big toe, your little toe, and your heel. So you're trying to get equal pressure across the whole foot, okay? From there, take the other leg out to the front, okay? So it's just sort of in front or just on the inside of that standing leg. So you've got quite a narrow base, okay? From there, as you can see, I've already got the kettlebell in one hand. All I'm gonna do is lift it up to sort of waist height, bring it into the middle, grab it with the other hand, and then slowly lower it back to the opposite side. And I'm just gonna repeat that, alternating hands while standing on one leg, focusing on slow control, because if I go too fast, it's going to pull me out of position. So you've got to focus on the balance, but also the control of those swaps. So every time I switch hands, so from here to here, that's 1 rep, okay? So we're going to go for 10 reps while standing on one foot, and then 10 reps while standing on the other foot, okay? Like I said, take your time with it and focus on that control, getting that footwork in. Now, because it's single leg balance as well, if you can, ideally, do it without any shoes and socks on. So do it barefoot, just so you can really feel that footwork and it's got that nice contact with the ground to give that proprioceptive feedback to the brain, which will also help build strength and, like I said, movement control within the foot. Your second movement, you're then going to do your standing psoas march. So you need your mini band, place it around the toes, then set the feet about hip width apart so there's already a bit of tension in the band. From there, you can place your hands by your sides or on your hips, but try and avoid having them out to the sides to aid in balance. I want all the balance to come from the foot. So again, for this one, if you can do it barefoot, great, but I also understand that the band is going to rub on the foot a little bit. So if you need to wear socks, then go for that, that's fine, but at least try and avoid wearing shoes for this. So again, get good alignment through the foot, and then all we're going to do is bring the knee up towards the chest so the thigh is parallel to the floor, and you're going to hold for a second and then lower back down. And you're going to do all your reps on one side before switching. So just get a little pause, back down, little pause at the top, and focus on that control. 15 on one leg, then 15 on the other. So your kettlebell swaps, 10 per foot, then into your marches, 15 per side. Remember, doing all the reps on one side first before you switch. So movements back to back, then rest 30 to 60 seconds, 3 rounds on that, again focusing on that quality and control. Your second 2 movements then, we're going to look at a little bit of calf, bit of core work through the bear holds, and then a little bit of calf work or soleus work with the bent leg calf raises. So the bear hold is super simple. We use this in our warm-ups as well, but now we're just going to push it for even longer. So we're going to set up in that quadruped stance. So into hands under shoulders, knees under hips, with the toes curled under slightly. From there, you're then going to push the hands through the floor and the toes to then lift the knees just off the ground. So you can see I've got a nice flat lower back, pushing through the floor, and I can keep that back as it was. I'm not arching it or anything like that. Pushing through the ground, knees just off the floor, and you're just going to hold. You're going to hold that for 30 to 60 seconds, okay? Really actively pushing through the floor with the hands and using those feet for support. Once you've done that, you're then going to go onto your bent leg calf raises. So for these ones now, again, you need your weight. If you've got the weight options, this is where we're going to get that heavier weight out now. And then you just need something to sit on. So a chair or a bench or anything like that will be absolutely fine. All we're going to do is sitting on the bench or chair, the leg that you're going to work, you're going to bring the foot in just slightly so the heel is just behind your knee. I'll show you from the side in a second. You're going to take your weight, you're going to place it right on the end of the knee, okay? If you've got a dumbbell, you can put it across the knee so the weight's at either side here, or kettlebell like you just saw there, straight on the top of the knee. Loose grip with the hands so that you're not getting sucked into lifting it with your arms. And then all you're going to do is push the big toe and little toe into the floor to lift the heel, hold for a second at the top, and then lower back down. Nice and controlled on the way down so we don't just let the heel just crash back into the floor. So big toe, little toe, hold, control. Big toe, little toe, hold, control. And you're just going to keep that tempo, and you're going to go for 15 reps on one side and then 15 reps on the other, making sure that you do all the reps on one side before you switch over. So again, just quickly from the side. So remember, first things first, bring that foot just in so that heel's just on the inside of the knee, weight on the end, big toe, little toe, pause at the top, and lower back down under control. And that's the tempo we should be looking for whenever we do any sort of calf work, okay? So those ones are designed to hit those soleus muscles. So obviously we've got 2 big areas. We've got the gastroc and the soleus run down the side. The soleus is one of the big powerhouses of running. So if you ever get any calf or ankle problems, again, soleus strength work is going to be key. So really focus on that. And as I said though, remember it's strength. We need to be overloading those muscles for them to get stronger. And what I mean by overloading is once they get used to a certain resistance, a week or 2 later, they're going to be used to that. So the only way you're going to build even more strength is to move heavier and heavier weights over time. So again, it's really important that you do try and get a variety of weights or a selection of weights, or get a gym membership so that you can then use the machines and stuff like that to increase the weight as you go. All right, because otherwise you're going to get stuck at very low level strength. For these sorts of movements, you should be building up to at least half body weight on those exercises. So calf raises and bent leg calf raises like we just did there, you should be moving half of your body weight on each side, okay, to really get a decent amount of strength. You got to remember, when you run, your calves and your soleus can absorb 2 to 3 times your body weight. So we want to have at least a decent level of strength in those muscles to make sure they can do their job properly when you run, okay? So like I said, bear holds 30 to 60 seconds, bent leg calf raises 15 per side, 30 to 60 second rest, 3 rounds on that as always. All right, so again, have a crack at those sessions. If you need any help trying to get more access to more weights and stuff like that, or obviously for gym memberships, if you need somewhere to be to recommend, then again, just give me a shout and I'll try and help as best I can.